Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
What's going on, people? This is Inflewence, and today I have Newage's Air Guardian, the legendary heroes, legend size Jetfire Skyfire, whatever you call him. I call him Jetfire always remembers Jetfire. Now, just a disclaimer, this is one of my favorite characters ever. So before I fan out and wild out about it, I just want to say I try to be as objective as possible. Looks wise, I think it's perfect. I think it's a perfect figure. My initial thoughts, you can click off now and just go buy it. But it's a damn near perfect figure to me. The sculpt, the materials used. I know Newage always uses new materials. Newage always uses good materials, but I always loved Magic Square's sculpts better than Newage. Well, this is an exception. Well, Magic Square don't have a Jetfire yet. However, I just think this is a darn near perfect figure. I know there's always something to complain about. There's always something missing, not from the cartoon or from the toy or whatever, the way it looks. But this thing, I mean, the paint, the materials, like I said, used. Now, there's a few complaints that I can say, but they're really just nitpicks. This is about, like I said, a figure. There's no perfect figure. It's designed by human beings. So there's no perfect figure. There's definitely stuff that you can find to complain about. But anything I mention is just like I'm finding something to complain about. This thing is, I love it. I said I'm out the Legends game, but for a piece like this that I possibly can have on my desk at my office or something, it's just, man, it's a great time to be alive. Regarding Transformers anyway. So let's get started. Off the bat, we'll start with just showing some of his up close and personals. His face. This thing right here flips around. I got an insignia on it now, but it has 3 different sides. So you can possibly have a side with nothing on it, and then a side with Autobot, and a side with Decepticon. And you see it flips around all 3 sides, and I like the flat side because I could get a bigger symbol on there, and I like the bigger symbol than the smaller symbol that fits in one of those squares. You also see his face sculpt is nice. Eyes are painted. Paint is nice. Everything's great. Everything looks painted well. Blue is a little, it looked like maybe it got a little sloppy in there a little bit, but I mean, like I said, nitpick. We can go over accessories. There's not many, just a gun. So gun is single cast, looks like, or double cast, you know, put together. It's just one piece of plastic though. And I wish it would have been painted. That's probably one of the gripes. Had a little bit more flair to it. It would have just added on to this, but it looks like Jetfire's gun. You get the no frills box. I do wish they would have included maybe another face, maybe the face cover or something. Again, nitpicking. Let's compare him to some figures so you can see how big he is and how, you know, what he compares to. So first, I'll just bring in, this is a Studio Series mainline figure, so maybe people will know. Hot Rod. If this was Rodimus, I think it would go well with the Studio Series. And maybe some people will still say it goes well with the Studio Series. I just think Jetfire is a much bigger than Prime and Rodimus. But this is Hot Rod, so Hot Rod's even shorter than his counterpart. And also, let me bring in a masterpiece. I'm just showing these. They're not going to scale with them, but just so you can see how tall he is. That's Fans Toys Cup, and he's a little bit shorter than Fans Toys Masterpiece figure. Cup. So now let's bring in the real deals, which is Legends figures. We got Iron Factory's Jetfire, which we all know it's not supposed to be the same. It's not the same line. It's not the same size. It's not the same iteration of Jetfire from the cartoon or whatever. There he goes. You see how big he is. Now we have a couple Legends figure. I don't have Optimus. I wish I did, but we got Megatron, which that is Newage. So this is the same companies. We got Magic Square Trailbreaker. Move them over a little bit so you can get a little center. And we got I forget what this is, Hot Rod. I think some side company. I can't even remember. Somebody let me know in the comments. Here's Hot Rod. And I think that's more scales better for Hot Rod. Let's get to Articulation and just showing some of the paintwork. Great paintwork down here. That red and the white. The red in here, the blue here for the cockpit, which is plastic. Does feel like there's die cast. I know this is die cast back here. I do like that they have these extra fins that help. I'll show it with the transformation. You'll show it. You here, you're transforming stuff. Up here, this does come out sometimes, and that could be a problem. But if you push it in well, it seems to stay in. Like, it's not wiggly or anything, but as you manipulate it, sometimes you'll hit it like this and this will come out. So that's just a nitpick again. These shoulder pieces will move as well as you manipulate it. But I mean, it's not a big deal. It's supposed to be like this when you transform it, just to give the arms some room. And like that when you have it for the sculpt. So it hides all that stuff under there. Articulation. Head is on a hinge, like swivel joint. So you can get up, way up. And this is about normal. And then down, not much. You can spin it around, you get 360. You get up on the shoulders, out like this. And even though this is well articulated, people couldn't complain about maybe some of this articulation. Like maybe they would want the shoulder to go all the way up, and I don't think it does any type of way. But it's enough for me. Get it down. You got elbow. Maybe they wanted a double joint. It's not a double joint, but you do get a little bit more than 90 degrees there. You have a bicep swivel up here. These wings can come down like this for no apparent reason. They usually just stay up like that. You can, has an ab crunch, and also waist swivel. It doesn't go all the way around because it hits here, but you do get a pretty good range. I don't need it all the way around just because I don't need it all the way around. Hands, he has a fixed thumb. I maybe would have liked the thumb to move, but it is a Legends. There's not many thumbs that move. And then all 4 fingers are on a little pin. And you have the trigger finger that's out a little bit more, but it doesn't move. I thought the thumb was going to get in the way. The one thing I do like is they have the thumb that doesn't move. My gripe with that is sometimes it's hard to get guns in. But if you see how this is cut, it's cut all the way to the bottom for the peg. The peg's in the middle of his hand, but it's cut all the way in the bottom, so you can just slide it in like that and it's fine. It doesn't come out. I do like that they thought of that. They thought of a lot here, and I appreciate it. So then the skirts get up all the way, and then he has these skirts front and back, but they're built in. It's the whole leg. I think that's very smart. And I really like that. I like when they do that. They've done it on a, Masterpiece has done it on some, I can't think now, but I do remember some figures having the built-in, like everything. So, which means you can get it all the way back if you get the backpack out the way. So it has the potential to go all the way back and all the way front. So he does the full hurdles. It's very well tolerance. Everything is well tolerance. It's not too tight, not too loose, which contributes to almost being a perfect figure. However, you know, this big backpack that he always had, you just have to get it up. And it still looks okay if you get it up like this and have it resting. It's just not pegged in. So let's put this back down because I want it down. Then you can move this all the way up and he almost gets the full splits. It does stop a little. Well, you gotta, have it right first. But yeah, it does stop a tiny bit, but it's still, I still give him the full splits. I don't know any poses that you might go that extreme with, but hey, he does have a double jointed knee. Again, the backpack. So let's see, let's get that out the way. And he, with the backpack out the way, he gets his all the way to his butt. It's all the way. Like, it's not much more you want from that joint. He has the joint here, the swivel joint. His foot rocks all the way, whichever way you like. You can get the toe tilted all the way up. You can get it tilted down. You can move this down here like this on this joint and get it a little bit more range down, like about that much. That's his normal foot. Well, his normal foot is like up here. Like you get this joint up there like that, and then it's a little closer. But you know, you can get down and up. Already showed up. Already showed rocker, and he has an independent heel spur, and it has this little extra piece. It's really to help with getting the heel spur out, which I think is thoughtful as well. But it kind of gives it an extra stability. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's get into transformation. Transformation is a great transformation. It's really nice. I always spin this first just because I don't like his symbol showing in plane mode because it kind of defeats the purpose to me in disguises. That's why he transforms, to disguise himself. So I'm gonna do some of it as the directions say, but oh, did I not? I didn't show the directions. My bad. I didn't use the directions. I used their video directions, which was a lot easier, but it does show a couple things that I think would be better if you do it a different way. So I'm gonna do it a different way, and I'll tell you what that is when I do it. So you move this like this, move these up. Just want to get them like that. Get this out. Flip the hands in. Everything is super well tolerance. Another thing, I'm gonna keep keep gushing over this figure. It's refreshing to find a figure that doesn't have loose parts, doesn't have hard, tight tolerances. At the same time, stuff just moves and goes where you go. So kudos to them. Again, I know they always made a good figure. So move this backpack back a little bit like this. Then you want to move this out. You can pull it out like that, but it's on a double hinge. You don't want to double hinge it. Again, with that, because it's small pegs on the side that goes into there and there. Kind of keeps everything together. So once you pull that out, then this will begin to fall down. And that's what you want. Want it to fall down, leave it down. You're good. Then flip this up like that. His canopy's coming out. Flip this back. Now this is one part. It shows to flip it back and to peg it in. It does peg in eventually, but I would leave it until I got done everything else because it makes it hard to bend this waist as you need it bent to fool with all this stuff. So let's keep rolling. Then you have this right here. It's on like two double hinges. Four double hinges. Double hinge there, there, and there. And it kind of collapses and goes together. I think that's kind of genius because it'll collapse and you see it's supposed to be there and then it'll move down a little bit and it's solid right here, but it keeps the, I guess, mass shifting together. Then you flip this out, plug it in inside, and this is what keeps stuff starting to get solid. Flip the nose cone out. Now you got the nose cone. Now you can flip this up on the sides, flip this up on the sides. And you got all that. Now what you want to do is kind of bend this down, and this is what I mean. If you plug this into here, it'll kind of get in the way of bending this down like this. So you want to bend this down, and you can bend the feet down as well if you would like. Now you want to bring the arms up and around. Now you got to split this apart. You can kind of pull this out if you need to, then split this apart. You don't really have to, but it helps a little. After you split this, it's on sliders. You can pull it back like that and slide it out a little bit easier. Sliders right there. Flip these in. Now you got to flip this whole thing upside down. So you flip, it's on here. It's this right here that you're flipping around. So you flip that around, and it kind of goes up under, bend that like that to get it up under here. And now you're there with it. So now you're going to kind of lay it flat and have these sitting like this. So it's a little indentation that they sit in. Pull these wings down so you can get, you see how they're in the body. You need them out of the body. Pull this part out. It's kind of intuitive as well. Pull that out and tab it on. Tabs on here, tabs on in the front. Then you flip this around here into and keep. So when you push these arms up, make sure they're sideways. And that's why these stay up, because it gives it room to go together like this. Then you can push this together. Make sure the head is where it needs to be, up in there like that. And then you can put this, like, make sure these are out, and then there's pegs around that solidify it. Then you have this, flip these wings out, flip these wings out. And actually when you pull these wings out, and probably should flip these out. I just realized that in order for them not to move back in while you're manipulating it, it would work better. But then you flip them out, and now you can move this back here and kind of peg it in. You got to move this waist back up a little bit, and then you can peg that in, and it kind of solidifies everything. And then you can do this, which is the walk-in mode. It's not really my cup of tea. I don't really care for it, but it's easy to get to and get out of, so that's great. So now with this, you want to flip these back, move this like that, and then flip this up. When you got it up like that, you move this back down, and then move this in at the same time you're flipping this down, and really easy. Then peg it in. Same thing over here. Flip that up like that. Flip this up. Move this down. Move this down. Flip it. There you go. Just works. Everything just works. Now this, you're gonna have to combiner wars it back. So what I do is tab it together. There's the tab in there. I think you saw that. Make sure this is back up. Gotta get this back up in some type of regular fashion. Now just you move it down like that, and then because this is going to cup around the faux ones, and then you just flip it up, and then it's around, and you just adjust them. It's around the faux ones, and then there's tabs in there, I think. No, I don't think there is tabs. I think it's just this keeping it on. Yeah, and then here you go. I think at the end I'm gonna compare it to Fan Stories Jetfire as well. If you want to stick around to when I transform it. And here you go. You got some landing gear there, those two, and then there's one in the front, of course. And you have the little window. I think that's a nice touch. The little window bottom where people can stand and sit. So yeah, here it is, and I have zero complaints about the alt mode as well. The alt in the regular mode looks great to me. This you open up, you got the cockpit in there with seats painted. I mean, not much more you can ask for. These aren't real wheels, but I didn't expect them to be on a Legends figure. Got the blue up here. It's nice. It's nice. Really nice. All right, so we can go back to robot mode. On back. Super easy. Pull this down a little bit. Move this back. Move that back. Then you can get these legs moved down and fool with them. Easy as pie. Move that back, flip that up. Actually, you can flip it all the way around because it doesn't matter now. And you can move this down, flip that back. Now I like this little piece. It's a little spot for your nail or something to grab so you can get the heel spur out. I think that's a nice little touch. Then you can flip that back. I like when companies do stuff like that because they're really thinking about the transformation. Flip that back, flip that back. Again over here, you can pull that out. Again, tolerances are great. I haven't needed one tool. Put the landing gear back if it didn't come back already. There's a peg up here that the feet peg or the legs peg into the knees. You can see that peg right there. Gotta get that in there. There we go. Landing gear up. Then, as you know, just reverse. Pull this apart. I like to pull this off so it's not interfering. Flip this down, put this back up. That's how it's going to be. Then you can kind of get this out the way. Move this up and move this back and flip it back around as you need it. There we go. Pull this all up. Gee. This is a tad bit tight, but it's not crazy tight. Flip the wings in, flip the wings up. Then you got them going. Flip the wings in, flip this up. You can go up like that, and you can just put this together. Oh, well, first you gotta undo that, flip that, pull this out right here, flip that. This is a little flimsy, so be careful. And you just fold that in, and you can push this together and close it, and just peg it together best you can do, and make sure this isn't in there like that. It's the first time that happened. Easy fix. Bring that out. You can push it up, but you don't have to worry about it because you gotta get all this stuff. Then move this out like that. Now you can work on all this, which isn't hard. So move this down. Move this, flip it around. Move this, flip it around. Then you kind of get it out, pry it out on both sides. Flip this down here. So you know you got that right where it's supposed to be. Now I try to get this flipped up and move this in first. You can move it in first and it kind of automatically goes where it needs to go. Then you can move this in because you're gonna have to peg both sides onto the front of that, which isn't hard at all. Get that going, get the hips where you need it to be. Kind of move the feet up. I like the feet up a little bit. And I guess you can move the feet wherever you need them at. I don't like the gap there, so I move them like that. And last but not least, you get the fist out. Flip these down. And you can flip these. And there we go, Newage Jetfire back in robot form. So you can see how they look. And it's basically Masterpiece Jetfire. It's the character design. This has a little bit more paint, like inner thighs. Maybe that could have been done, but it has the same type of sculpting. And I mean, what more could you ask for in your legend size Jetfire? That's just crazy to me. All right, so thanks for watching this video, and I will get up with you in another video. Peace.
Ain't no, life ain't no, life ain't no, life ain't no. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want.